Okay guys, next Delve video. Not sure when this is going to be released, so I'm not going to say a day. This is going to be pre-recorded, just because I need to start stocking up on footage for when old school RuneScape Salem releases, and just going to jump into a 560 depth Primeval Chamber here. Plenty to talk about with the build, plenty of changes I've made since the last video, so I'll go over them. Yeah, we've delved down to 560, not like crazy deep yet, obviously. It takes a little while to get there. But yeah, this is what we're doing so far. Not bad at all. Currency has been really quite bad, to be fair, because we're just doing vertical, and we're not like aiming for currency right now. We're just trying to get our depth, and then we'll probably go horizontal at like 1,000 maybe. I'm thinking just to stock up on some currency over the weekend, and then do one last push with delve depth on probably Monday, Tuesday, and see where we end up. So aim's not to go like giga deep. We are just going to we're just going to be probably going to like 1,500 maybe a little bit further, but I'm not really sure where we'll end up. We'll go as deep as we can in the time we've got, and then we will slowly get onto some like later on too. But yeah, like I said, we just need to pre-stock up on some footage, really, because not going to be able to release daily videos when old school comes out, right? So, or when the update comes out. So I will go through it. First update was I went for Tender Embrace on our second graft. I don't think I need the extra strike skill target one additional nearby enemy because we swapped into Ancestral Call, Awakened Ancestral Call. So we swapped into that, got more health. It's fine for now. We got the additional physical damage reduction too. This was free divine, so that was a nice cheap upgrade. We also went for an updated Lethal Pride. Now we went for I think this was 5 divine, another cheap one. It gave 10% reduced extra damage on crit strike. We've got flat strength here and here. We've got percent strength here and I think here. This is just stun duration, so it's whatever. So this gave us a little bit extra strength on top of giving us the reduced extra damage taken from crit strikes. So we have a little bit here. When I think I actually need it, I don't actually need it right now. We haven't died once going from 100 delve depth to 560. We haven't died once, so we don't need this crit damage reduction yet. But I will probably go here on tree and the mastery before I swap to the chest. So when I've fixed the resistance issue, I will be swapping to a better chest than this. So that's that. Okay, so big upgrade. The most expensive upgrade of the build so far. We brought the Nimis for 140 divine. This was yesterday. I haven't checked the price. I assume it's come down since the patch. We will just see how much they are. 142, they're holding about the same. I assume it's going to crash in value pretty sure. Pretty sure it'll go down kind of soon. Like I said, we're most likely wrapping most of what we will do in the league in around a week's time. So I just decided to pull the trigger, go for this Nimis rather than save up another few days for the original Sin. When we swapped into Nimis, we also swapped into Ancestor's Call on Sword on our 6-link in Molten Strike, just because you don't need returning projectiles, obviously. And we swapped into a Sion's Ambition, which is on the amulet, instead of, I think, Forces of Darkness, the Chaos Pen. This has made the playstyle very comfortable. It feels incredible for clear. I would recommend you try it out basically at any point of the build if you're doing like, unless you're doing pure single target content like pinnacle bosses, regular bosses, whatever. I would really recommend trying out the combo of Sion's Ambition and trying to see where you can get Awakened Ancestral Call support. It feels really incredible. It feels so smooth for clear and delve and everything like this. The problem is, pre-Nimis, basically every link is good, right? Slower projectiles support feels mandatory. Multi-strike is mandatory. Void manipulation feels mandatory. Volatility feels they all feel extremely good, right? So, but I thought I'd mention this just because it actually feels better. So if you can, drop a link somewhere and pick up Ancestral Call as well as Sions, and you're still able to clear the content that you're currently doing because everything in the game is contextual, right? Like, if you're doing twice as much damage as you need for the content you're doing, then why not drop a link and make it more comfortable? Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Try it out, see what you think. It feels really good to me. So, um, okay, so when we swapped Nimis, we also swapped that other ring to a Coiling Whisper, and we're using this Coil and Whisper setup with Hex Touch, Temporal Chains, less duration, and these aren't leveled, so they're just given less curse duration, and the Leap Slam isn't on faster attacks or anything. And I will jump back into a Delve Depth quickly, just see if I can find a cheap one so I don't waste too much sulfite, and I'll just show you how many souls I'm getting. You can see here when I dash through these, if you look in the top left, and we're like 30 souls, and we're already moving fast, and we were moving with our 6-link setup, right? So I'll just quickly complete this node while I'm talking. But okay, so you can see like while we're traveling, we have a lot of souls, and that really helps during the traveling process of Delve. This is good for this content. But you can see our souls are dropping now, and that is because we're not applying temporal chains anymore, right? Because we're just stationary, we're not moving. And if I start dashing around with Leap Slam, you can see I'm putting temporal chains back on, and we're actually gaining souls. So obviously, when you're delving and you're just standing still like I'm doing now, and you're just stationary, and you have a lot of like good defensive mods that only work when you're stationary, you just stand still. So I'm not applying temporal chains at the minute. Just go back to the encampment. So that is the explanation for temporal chains. So we are also using mark on hit sniper's mark still, and even though we don't have two sources of curse, we are automatically applying both of the curses that we're using at different times. So when I'm dashing, when I'm leap slamming around, I'm putting on temporal chains because of leap slam and hex touch. And when I'm just stood still stationary and just right clicking, I'm using sniper's mark on hit. And it works really well for delve. So that is the setup for Coil and Whisper. Got a nice 6% strength on. Might chuck some corrupted catalyst, whatever they're called, in such to try to get extra 1% strength. But so that is what we've done with our other ring. Because we came out of our cogwork rings and we don't have 2 warlord items anymore, also dropped this bound by destiny, so we lost 14% strength here. You can see I've actually lost about 400 strength in total, but I've gained a lot of tankiness. So yeah, it's required for delve, right? So that's why we came out of quite a lot of strength. I did end up going for a replica Rumi's concoction, and the reason why is because I just need the extra tankiness for delve, right? There's an interaction with replica Rumi's where it petrifies you, but because you're Jug, it doesn't really do anything. So because of this Juggernaut here, action speed cannot be modified below base value, movement speed cannot be modified below base value. It stops the petrification on replica Rumi's, so I'm just still right clicking, and this is up maybe like half the time, where it's just given 1 endurance charge, whatever. We're Jug, we get a lot of endurance charges, and it's given, short uptime of 50% chance to attack block damage, 50% chance to block attack damage, and 24% chance to block spell damage. So that is the replica Rumi setup. Gem levels and qualities. We've got a lot of I'll just show you on the sheet. This is where I track the upgrades and what I paid for them. You can see day 12, which is the first delve day. We replaced an awful lot of gems that we had just skipped, and we qualityed up basically most of our gems. So we just went and backfilled a lot of cheap upgrades. You can see we got an extra level on Molten Strike of the Zenith. We still haven't got Awakened Multi Strike because it's a little expenny, but we will go for that kind of soon. I think the next thing I'm going to do is quality these Purity of Elements and Purity of Fire just to get that extra little bit of resistance to help us out and try come out of this chest. We qualityed up like what else did we quality? Mark on hit, Sniper's Mark, Arctic Armor because it has better duration, Blood Rage, yeah, slower supports, slower projectile support. You know, we went and backfilled a lot of these, so there was that. Okay, the cast while damage taken setup. The cast while damage taken setup for me, I'm using life tap on all of this, and it is Frost Shield, Sigil of Power, cast while damage taken, obviously, Molten Shell, and more duration on all of them. So all of these, whenever I take a big hit and delve and I'm just stood completely still, you can see like Sigil of Power makes enemies deal 24% less damage while at max stages, and you can see Frost Shield is just defensive, right? Like 20% damage dealt to me in area with hits is taken from the Frost Shield's life before my life, and and then the next line as well, 60% of it by enemies outside the area is taken from the Frost Shield too. So it's just making us like way more tanky. And then I went for Molten Shell rather than a Mortal Call. I know there's some talk of using a Mortal Call. I'm not like super into it, to be fair. Like if I think it's necessary later on, I will swap into it. But right now, I'm not using Immortal Call just because it's not needed. Like I said, I'm not dying, so don't really have to look for the extra tankiness yet. It's not like a immediately needs to be handled issue. So there's that. Um, Watcher's Eye. I actually haven't filled this socket yet. This is what we took Bound by Destiny out of, and I will fill this with just like a rare gem or something before I put this POB out. Watcher's Eye. We swapped our Watcher's Eye from Chaos Res while affected by Purity of Elements and minus mana cost with Clarity to um, the same first mod, Chaos Resistance, while affected by Purity of Elements, and we got a cold and lightning damage taken as fire damage while affected by Purity of Fire. So we came out of Clarity. Since we're still using Purity of Fire, we're using that mod just for a little bit extra tankiness. Yeah, the mana cost, I'll be honest with you, I think is throttling damage a little bit at the minute. But again, it's not really an issue with the mana leech right now. So probably took a little bit of a dip in DPS. And I actually have that rare. Jewel. I can just slot that in quickly. Nice. Yeah, we probably took a little bit of a hit in damage because of the mana cost. Like, if I'm not hitting anything, I'm not able to queue up a second Molten Strike, right? These are just auto attacks. So, yeah. But it's working for now, so we'll just stick with that. And that's why we swapped the Watcher's Eye. So, I do have stuff still on the to-do list, which is chest, mentioned it before. Gloves probably need to be changed a little bit. I need to get the extra +1 target, one additional. It needs to be targeting 2 additional nearby enemies, is what I'm trying to say on these gloves. I'll probably buy a pair instead of crafting them. Belt, probably need a good elemental resist as well as a better chaos resist roll. But these will just come with time, and when I think they need to be upgraded, that's when we'll actually upgrade them. So they're still on the to-do list. So something I did want to mention before I call it, because it's already quite long. Bear in mind with these changes that I'm making is because I'm aiming to do a certain level of content, and the content that I'm doing is maybe different from the content you're doing, and you might want to make changes for you that is more comfortable, right? So you might just want to, if you're doing, if you're already one-shotting every piece of content that you're currently doing, then why add more damage is what I'm trying to say. Add utility or tankiness if you're dying, whatever. So these changes are just a guideline, and you don't have to go for the exact changes I'm doing, right? You don't have to follow the exact path I'm doing. I'm just doing this to show you how I'm building the character, if that makes sense, and the steps that I'm going in building that character. So I thought I'd mention that quickly. Yeah, we'll do a quick Discord chill. If you're having issues with your build, PoE or Torchlight, chuck a build code, chuck a POB link in the Discord. I'm happy to look at it. Um, got a small but very active community. They're all happy to look at POBs. They absolutely love it. Like, don't let them tell you otherwise. They always jump on it straight away. So yeah, if you're having issues, post it in there. Someone will take a look at it. I'll take a look at it, and yeah, we'll I'll see you next time, whatever that is, since this is pre-recorded. So catch you then.